Hello everybody, this is Rinea, the Sizzix lady from it'scheaperthantherapy.com. I wanted to welcome you to another virtual event that we're doing, and today we're going to be kind of showing off a few techniques to make some simple cards and using the awesome Sizzix Big Shot Express electronic die cutting machine as well. So we are going to be doing some things. Stay to the end of the 20 minutes here, because then we also have another great sale for you on something really amazing at a really great price. So without further ado, here we go. So we're gonna bring this down. All right, so this is the Big Shot Express machine, and we're gonna just get to it here. So this is one of the dies. This is a background die here from Tim Holtz, and it's called Organic, and it's just a nice background die. It doesn't do any of the cutting on the outside of it. It just does the embossing or cutting. So instead of cutting this die, we're going to emboss it. We've done that before a little bit, but that's been a really fun technique. And so what you do is you take your die face up, the cutting edge facing up, and then you put your cardstock on the top. Now, depending upon what kind of cardstock that you're doing and using, you may want to just kind of spritz it with a little bit of water. It kind of softens and weakens the fibers of the paper, so you get a little bit better of embossing. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take the silicone rubber and the impressions pad. And we have those in a set that you can buy, and I'm going to kind of show that to you here in just a moment. I'm just going to, you can use a double-sided tape or washi tape to hold it. And I'm going to put the silicone rubber down, and I'm going to put this impressions pad. And what that is, it's a very hard pad, and we're going to run this through. You can run it through once, you can run it through twice, depending upon how great that the paper picks up the embossing portion of it. So you don't necessarily always have to cut with your dies. You can actually emboss with them as well. So this here has been embossed with the organic die, and that's pretty darn cool. So this gives you another way of using your dies instead of always cutting them. So now what we're going to do, we're going to kind of do a little bit of cutting and a little bit of embossing, and then we're going to get into putting it together to kind of show you what it is that we made. Now the next thing we're going to do is take the scribbly butterflies. These are also Tim Holtz from Sizzix. And we're going to take one of the butterflies, and we're going to make this card. I'm going to kind of just peek and show you the card here really quick. And so you can take the card. We're going to use the Rinea double-sided foil paper and show how delicate and everything it looks. This was actually done with the bouquet background, but you can get different background dies. You can even do like the twigs or whatever it is that you want to use. So just kind of look at it that way, that there's more than just one way of using those. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut the butterfly. And when you cut the butterfly, we have to add one more layer onto the platform here. And so if you noticed on that card, I don't know if you noticed it, but there was two butterflies. One was gold and one was the lavender, the blush lavender. And so what we did is we just took this and folded it in half, because it's a double-sided foil paper. So it's actually foil, and it's actually paper, and it's double-sided, as I just said. And the other thing is that it is not to be used with heat foil. This is a completely different dynamic and different product. So it is not, and you really can't, you can't do the heat part of it. So what I'm going to do is just run it through so it's no hands. So this is the electric Big Shot machine. You can run it through once, you can run it through twice, but depending upon your paper or your cardstock and the thickness of it, you may want to consider doing it twice. Obviously that this came through really, really nice, so we don't need to do it twice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the die pick, and I'm going to just find one of these little holes. See these little holes that are here? These little holes are like holes that you can kind of pick the little butterfly out of. So it kind of gets it started here for you. So you can use your die brush and foam pad that pushes all the little pieces out. We sell that as well. We're not going to demo that right now because all the pieces are pretty much out of here. So if you notice that it is double-sided as the purple on both of it, because we folded it in half, right? So if you want to keep it like this and make it a little bit sturdier, that you can, or if you want to separate it, and I have to just move it over a little bit just so I can see through my bifocals, and separate the two butterflies. That way you can have a purple one on the bottom, or I mean a gold one on the bottom, because this is double-sided and it's all gold on the back on the glossies. You could bend your wings up a little bit, mount the butterfly together, and I'm going to show you that here in just a second. We're going to put that together. But before we do that, like I said, we've got a little bit of embossing to do before we continue on. The other one is embossing with, and this is kind of a fun technique too. This is embossing with the 3D folders, making another really cute card, because this is the card edition. So this is the silver glossy. You can kind of see that even if it has like a little bump or anything on there, once you run it through the embossing folder, that all goes away. So don't be too afraid of that. The back side of it's gold because it's the glossy. But the really cool thing about it is, and I'll find it here in a second, we're going to run this through, make sure it's all in there straight. So we're going to take that platform and cutting plate off, because when we use these with the 3D folders, we only use one clear cutting pad. If it was a regular embossing folder, you would be using 2 of those. Okay. So we're going to kind of just do a little bit of techniques, and here is the embossing. Isn't that gorgeous? It just really, really, really looks nice. So this is the Mosaic Gems embossing folder that we just used. But could you imagine, there's some really new ones, and they're really beautiful. And one is the, it is the Adorn Tile. The Adorn Tile. And then we've also got the brick and the leaf background. Those are brand new ones, but there's a ton of different 3D folders that we have as well. And then as far as the other backgrounds go, you know, there's the doodle art. There's the doodle art too. You can cut them, you can emboss them, whatever it is that you'd like to do with those. Those are pretty fantastic as well. Okay, so the other thing that I wanted to do is to show you the 3D Impresslits. And what an Impresslit means is basically it's an embossing folder or a 3D folder that also has a die in it. Now, since we've already kind of showed how to do the embossing with the 3D folders, we've already kind of just pre-cut this. I just want to kind of open it up. We did this one with the Starstruck, and the Starstruck has stars on both sides, and it's the same color on both sides. This is the Rinea paper. So if you take your little die pick, you can actually get your little piece out, just kind of up on the edge. Isn't that pretty? So you can do some really pretty leaves, and they just look really phenomenal. So that's another thing, is you got the Impresslits. Now, what I wanted to show you with this is, and I'm just going to take this machine and just set it down for a moment. So we're not going to do too much more cutting. We're going to kind of show and tell a little bit for you. So with putting that card and things together with the background that we did here, is we've also got the fine tip bottle. This is an additional tip that comes separately. The blue one comes with the bottle, and this one has the adhesive comes out a little bit faster, where the other tip is just really extremely tiny, which that's great for when you have really extremely tiny things that you need to have adhered down. Okay, so this makes a really great fast card, a beautiful card that you can you know, send if you wanted to send somebody something, which a lot of people are doing that right now. And then you take your little butterfly pieces. If I could find the little butterfly pieces, there they are. Just take them. I'm gonna let this glue kind of sit there for a little bit. Kind of the metallic paper wants to kind of grab it a little bit. So then you would just glue your, I'm gonna just do one right here. And depending upon where you want it, I don't really want the wings glued down. And so you can kind of do things one-handed with this a little bit. So you're just going to put a little bit of adhesive here. I'll put a little bit of adhesive right there. And you can also take your tweezers and kind of line things up a little bit. and then press it down wherever you want it. And they also have layered butterflies. It has more of a solid background instead of just the one on top of the other one. And this is just a real simple one here that you can do, and then you can put like a little sentiment on there. So these kind of hold their shape. It is delicate, but they do hold their shape, and they're really nice. So there's some really quick fun things that you can do with that. Now the next one that we're going to do is we've just already embossed the silver right here. And with the silver, what we did was, let's see where that one's at. What we did is embossed it, and one of the things that you can do with it is you can actually color it with your markers in that. And so that makes it really pretty, really easy. Good thing for the kids to kind of play around with a lot. And so we also have the new markers from Sizzix. They're permanent markers. This is a set of 12 with all the beautiful colors on there, and they're double tipped on, so it shows the thicknesses of the tips on there. Shows the backs of the markers, and you can just take it and you can just color. You color in your sections. Gives the kids a lot of fun to do with this, and you can just keep coloring it in. Oops, I went out of the line a little bit. That's okay. But right here is where we started with the silver. We started with the silver and then just colored it in with the markers. Or you could actually just do the different Rinea papers, because they come in a whole bunch of different colors, and they come in the solids with the glossy or the starstruck on there. But it's just a simple layering on top of the card. So literally you don't even have to make like the whole card. Just do the black and then mount it right on top of the cardstock, or you can just even use it as a fun background. You can also, excuse me, you can also use this in your scrapbooking in that too. Sorry, I got the hiccups. So, and this one is because all of the glossies have gold on the back. With the gold on the back, this one is embossed with the gold, or you can also even do it in a debossing mode. So you can do it embossing, or you can do it in debossing. So enjoy those very, very much. Now I wanted just to kind of show you a little bit of some of the tools. Okay, so with the embossing, oh, that's what I was going to do, is we got some of the Rinea Ghost ink, and that's been really popular, and a lot of people are kind of really not sure about it yet because it's pretty new in the product. This is the new Ghost ink from Rinea 2.0, and you can either do it as a stamping or you can do it as a solid. And what I'm going to do is find my little stash of Rinea paper. So then I'm going to show you two different ways that you can do this. Is you can take, and we've got two different ways. We have these little sponges which has a little ergonomic handle on it. The other end of it, you can actually put different tips on it. You can put the X-Acto knife, or you can put the distressor on there, or you can just put the basic end. A lot of people love this because you can peel off one end and add another one. So if you have different color inks and blendings, you can do that too. But I wanted to say is a lot of people are buying them and they're not realizing that you need to have this multi-tool starter kit. And then this is the extra blending end with one extra sponge. And then you can also get a set of 4 sponges to add into there. I just wanted to show that in there really quick of the different fun tools that you can use with that. The other thing that you can use is you can actually even use these little, we have a set of these, and we're going to tell you about a little special of them when we come to the end, so you don't want to miss that. And so you're going to take a little bit of the Ghost ink, which we took a little dropper and put it in the bowl, and then you can kind of just lightly go over it. I know it's got a little bit of color on it because we've been using it on some different colors, and you just want to lightly go over it. And I'm not going to do all of it. I'm just going to kind of let it sit. Then the other thing is we also took a snowflake, and this is the Ghost ink pad and also the Rinea stamp block. And so what you can do with it is you can actually make backgrounds. You can stamp on this as far as like permanent inks. You can use permanent inks, so you can't even see anything, so it's like a ghost ink. You can do permanent inks on there as well. So if you want the stamp to be in black, you can do that as well. And as you can kind of see on the ink pad how it's picking up some of that blue. But it's not going to hurt anything because basically you're wiping off a lot of that. So we're going to kind of let that sit there for just a minute while we're kind of working on other things. I'm going to show you how to run that. So that silicone rubber and the impressions pad that we did the embossing on the die, this is it. Look at all the different fun embossing things that you can do with the, and this is actually called the Emboss and Transfer Set. And what that means is it basically has the silicone rubber and the impressions pad all in one kit. And we have those for you. So I wanted to show you kind of what it's called and what it looks like as far as the embossing goes. While we're letting that dry for just a moment, there is the star die. And that's been really a great fun thing. They've been selling really well for people can make ornaments and little, you know, designs and gifts and things you can hang. The kids love it, and it's really actually easy to do. I'm still kind of getting my fingers to work a little bit. And I'll basically, and Diane, the owner of Rinea, is gonna maybe be proud of me. You just take your pencil and make sure it's a number, you know, like a number 2 sharpened pencil, and you just twist it up, and it holds its shape. And you just do that onto all of them. Yay, Diane, I did a really good job on this. So Diane's gonna be really happy. And you do that on all of them. And you do all the different sizes. So there's 3 different sizes on the ornament. And then you can just glue them together. And then the directions are all that are on our online. So you can see that as well. And so those really make a pretty ornament. Now some of the other embossing, like I said, we're waiting for this to dry a little bit, is you can take some of the dies and you can do different embossing folders and use that ghost ink for the background of these spider web. And this is actually the notebook die from Eileen Holen's Sizzix. And this one here is, it's just called Notebook. So if you're looking for it, you can just go into the search box on our website at www.itscheaperthantherapy.com, and you can just search Notebook. But this is actually cut out of like mapboard, chipboard with the Rinea paper. This is the Starstruck on it, and it wipes all off on there. So you got some Starstruck. You can take the little composition books and make different covers for them. And this is just another color on the back of the glossies, just to kind of give you a different look of how is that. And then one more thing I wanted to show you, when you do double up your papers, like if you just get a lot of the Starstruck, you can get double it up, and that makes it really sturdy for even, I'm going to pop it out a little bit, for these 3D die sets that you can use. And that one's from Karen Burniston. That is the family room and then the tree die set. I think it's 1099 and 1020 if I'm not mistaken. So then you just take your cloth, and like I said, we only did just this little bit of it, and you just kind of want to just, I mean, really lightly, because you can always do more, but you can't do less. You know, so just kind of just take your cloth, your paper towel, and you just kind of run it on there. And you can kind of see how it's taken off, and you can do as little or as much as you'd like on there on the distressing part of it, of how much you want distressed. Now this here is the ghost ink, and so I'm just going to lightly rub, and so then you can see how that the snowflakes are coming alive on there. And so you can make different backgrounds. Be fun for the kids to do. It's actually fun for the adults to do too. So this is just a snowflake set that is in the Sizzix stamp set. And that's the stamp set right here. And then there's some really fun stamps that we have. And they're called Funny Bones. And I mean, there's just a bunch of them. And this one says, when I die, I want my last words to be, I left $1 million under the ... And so those are just really super fun stamps. And you can add those to all of your cards and embellishments and everything on there. So basically, this is everything. This is also the die cut holder. And so we're getting to the end of it here. So we have so much more that we could show you and we could teach you. These are the tweezers. But what I want you to do is I want you to go to itscheaperthantherapy.com, This is your coupon code. Love Home Therapy is your coupon code, all one word. 25% off most everything. The machines and accessories, if they're already discounted, that's the final discount. And then free shipping on all orders over $50, or there's just a little bit of shipping cost. So go over to itscheaperthantherapy.com, check it all out, have some fun, have a good time, and wanted to thank you. Wanted to show off my little cup that my friend made me. So goodbye, everybody. Thank you for watching and everything, and have a great day. It's cheaperthantherapy.com. Talk to you later. Bye.